Time to spill the tea, or is it throw the shade? I don't know. I'm lost in, young people's lingo these days.
When I never felt that, come on, yeah.
So I'm here to give my official rant about the ministry's updated plan. The proverbial crap has hit the fan online, in the media, in social media. Parents, teachers, and I'm sure students and admin are also upset, understandably so, about the ministry's new plan. Basically, what the ministry has done is that instead of having smaller bubbles or smaller groups per classroom, groups of 6 in one classroom, which was already a bit sketchy. How can you cram like 4 groups of 6 in a classroom while maintaining social distancing? Well, they scrapped that, and now basically the entire classroom is a bubble, and teachers are going to be moving from classroom to classroom, which was already in the plan, but now there's no social distancing inside the classroom, and masks are not mandatory inside the classroom, but they are mandatory when students are in common spaces. Correct me if I'm wrong. If students are not moving from classroom to classroom, when are they actually wearing a mask? I mean, sure, when they arrive, they have to wear a mask, and if they're going to the washroom, I get it. But lunches are going to be in classrooms, and there won't be any like common congregations, assemblies, because that involves too many people, and if we have to like social distance, we can't do that. And for arrivals, the ministry suggested staggering the arrival of students and using different points of entry. How are we going to supervise that as teachers? Like, I mean, I can imagine a small school like under 300. It could be manageable, I guess. But when you've got a school with more than 1,000 students, staggering arrivals are going to last how long? An hour? Okay, I know, I'm exaggerating. So I was thinking over the past week, what could the government have done that would be a true update to their plan? What could they have done? But first, I have to put like an asterisk to this rant. What I'm about to propose, I very well understand that there are a lot of constraints and issues that need to be dealt with first. First of all, we cannot forget that there is a shortage of teachers in our province, which I have mentioned a few times in past videos. There's a lack of teachers in our province because our profession is not viewed in a positive light. So there are fewer university students going towards teaching nowadays, and understandably so, because teachers are not supported. Classroom context is very complicated, very difficult. I'm trying to summarize this because I don't want this to be a 30-minute video. So there's that issue. Secondly, I am recognizing the work that my admin team at my school has put together to support their teachers. And I recognize that this rant has nothing to do with my admin team. They're doing a phenomenal job, and I know that's not the reality in other schools. It is unique to us. And I also recognize, and this is the third little, addendum, asterisk, students do need to go to school, and there are circumstances where you cannot have a kid alone at home. I realize that, and to learn, like, mentally speaking, psychologically speaking, I'm not an expert here. When you come home, from work, you're told leave work at work and come home, and home is your safe space. And it has to be the same thing for students as well. It's hard for students to learn from home because they don't equate home with school, and I recognize that. There are a lot of workers who work from home who find it very difficult. They have to set a routine, they have to set parameters in order to focus. When it comes to being self-employed, sometimes getting that motivation to do the work when you are in your home surroundings, it's a challenge, which is why many people have their own little home office, and they make it a point of getting up, getting dressed, just as if they were leaving the house, but they're not actually leaving the house. They're just going to. So I recognize that, and studying, working, going to school from home is an impossibility for many. Okay, I get that, I realize that, but what we're going through right now, the pandemic, the virus, will result in what I think will be societal changes, not only in the way we learn, but also the way we shop, the way we entertain ourselves, the way that we conduct business. There are going to be changes that won't necessarily happen overnight, might take years, decades for them to happen. And that needs to be understood. What I'm going to propose and rant about, I'm aware of these issues and obstacles. So first thing that should have been included in their updated plan, masks. The Canadian government has basically said that kids as of the age of 10 must wear masks because the studies prove it. There are numerous studies that show that kids can spread germs. And if you've ever been to school as a human being, you know how kids act. It's a breeding ground for germs. Come on. Been just like the logical choice. Oblige kids to wear masks in classrooms. I know I'm going to wear a mask. I bought a nice fancy set of masks. Like, masks are going to happen in my classroom for me, that's for sure. Number 2, and this brings me back to the asterisks about the lack of teachers in our province, reduce class sizes. That should happen. If we are going to respect social distancing, if we are going to limit contact, we need to reduce class sizes. I like it how a lot of the images that have been shown in the media were mostly of private schools or updated, renovated schools where you have big open classrooms and air conditioning, okay, proper ventilation and whatnot. And that's not the case in the majority of our schools. There are still asbestos problems in some schools in our province. There's mold, okay, and they've literally closed schools because of that. So you can't cram 30 to 35 students, which is the average, I may add, in some of my classes, and expect people to stay distant. Literally, my students in my classroom are sitting side by side by side by side. Somebody coughs, breathes, you're next to them. Number 3, and I know that for some it might not have been ideal, but go to school part-time, at least for the first couple of months, maybe until the end of October. Go to school part-time, go back part-time, half a day at least, because let's face it, for at least for our province, and maybe for many provinces in Canada, kids haven't been to school since March. Okay, yes, I know. Classes resumed in May, but many parents opted out. So And same goes for teachers, okay? There are teachers who haven't set foot in a classroom since March. Going back to that environment will be jarring. Anyone who's been on leave, whether it's maternity leave, sick leave, for more than just a week, the noise level is going to be, it's going to be a shock to the system. The amount of people around you will be a shock to the system, especially if you're a person who got used to, reducing your movement and your non-essential travel. It's going to be a shock to the system. So for our mental health, with all due respect to all of the professionals out there, we're not talking a lot about mental health in regards to the pandemic. We need to go back to school progressively. And to say that we did that progressive return back in May, no, it's not representative of what should actually happen when we get back to school in September. Of course, if we can't do the whole part-time thing, then maybe we need to push back the date. And that could have been another adjustment or update that the government could have proposed. Pushing school back to maybe after Labor Day or even mid-September, so teachers can have a better grasp of their reality. Okay, right now we only have 3 professional days, pedagogical days, plus a weekend to prepare not just for our content, our curriculum, but also to the reality that we're going to have a massive schedule change. Groupings are going to be different. Many teachers who have gotten used to being in one classroom will now have to move from classroom to classroom. That's a routine that you're going to have to change. And not many teachers are used to that. Yes, I know. A lot of teachers do that already, and I get it. But there's a chunk of teachers who got used to just being in their room. And that's going to be fun. Giving your teachers the time to adjust to that, to know, okay, my classroom is going to be there, it's going to be there, and to plan their lessons around that, because you can't necessarily start at the bell. You have to set up passing time being what it is. You're going to have 5 minutes to go from class A to class B and to be ready on time. It's going to take an adjustment, and you have to get ready to that. Finally, and I know it's the unpopular opinion among many, why didn't we capitalize on virtual learning? Why didn't we become, as a province, a pioneer when it comes to distance learning, distance teaching, synchronous, asynchronous learning and teaching? Why couldn't we have capitalized on that? Look, it's not the norm, but I know for a fact that there are schools in Arizona, elementary schools in Arizona, doing virtual learning, virtual classes. They have not resumed regular classes because they start earlier, and this is firsthand information. Yes, it means that there are parents who will have to stay home or work from home, but there are businesses, big corporations in our province who have basically mandated their employees to work from home until December. Just putting that out there. So where the province could have created a more avant-garde, a more modern educational system where the working and learning environments protect teachers, students, professionals, admin, they chose to remain in a very archaic mind frame where you have to put kids in a row in a classroom to be babysat. To be taught. Was I a bit too shady there? Was I a bit too shady? Maybe. But let's be honest. It feels for many teachers right now that this updated plan is just trying to force kids back into a system and allow parents to return to work, to get the economy going. But by doing this, by sending this message, not only are you totally invalidating the work that teachers are doing in order to ensure the economy of the future by teaching students, by creating well-rounded citizens, you're basically throwing us to the wolves being the virus. You're disregarding the work that is involved in what we're doing. And in this context, I know my teaching is going to be different. I know my lessons are going to be different. And it's not going to be done the same way. I know for a fact that my groupings have changed, and because of that, I'm not going to be teaching the same way that I've done before. Politicians need to realize that our reality, they are so far removed from it, and they cannot make decisions for us thinking it's for it's for the best, it's for everyone's good. No. You have to spend some time in our reality for you to pronounce yourself on this. If you are going to say that this is going to be safe, I challenge you to spend a week, 2 weeks, no, not even 2 days in that system, and then tell me if it's safe. Because I'm not going to spend half of my day cleaning desks, cleaning doorknobs, and making sure that I didn't catch something that I will bring back home to my family, or transmit to other students, or transmit to my colleagues. Because, like, yay, being asymptomatic is a thing. You know, I could have the virus and not even realize it. So I could go on at length about this. And I've only scratched the surface when it comes to the mental health issues surrounding this reality. So on that note, folks, stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, please. It's like, we stopped talking about the hand washing and we're focusing on the mask, but yeah, washing your hands is still important. Just putting that out there. Have a great day, Internet.